wake up. I don't wanna wake up, wake up. Yeah, I'm straight, never switch lanes. On my job every day, cause it's hard not to see. I came up in a big way, and I hardly ever sleep, but it's like a dream. I don't wanna
Welcome into Bench Together. Been waiting for this for a long time, Zuri. My good friend, co-host Zuri Sanders in the building tonight. Actually, not in my building. She's in Dallas, Texas. I'm in Lexington, Kentucky. Zuri, how you doing?
I'm great, Alex. You ready?
I'm ready. Let's
This
do
was a
this.
crazy idea. I think this is honestly one of the best ideas I've had in my entire 28 years of living.
I think it was one of your best idea ever as well, because it was your idea. We started talking at our 10-year high school reunion since we're old now, about a couple 2 or 3 weeks ago,
Yeah.
and I was like, let's do it. Let's do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, that's what a couple of tequila shots does to you. You start getting a little creative, you start getting a little like optimistic, and you're like, you know what? I'm just gonna go try it. And I came up to you, I said, you know what? Are you still doing that podcast? And you were like, no, I'm not. And I said, we should do a podcast together. And I thought literally the way you looked at me, I was like, this man does not think I'm serious. I
No,
know
I
I
didn't.
joke a lot. I know I am a very facetious person, but I need him to understand this is my pitch, and I hope that he's going to take it. And so when you texted me, you have no idea the smile that was from like ear to ear. I was like, yes, he actually took me seriously.
I was 100% not taking you seriously at first. I was like, she is definitely joking. But I'm like so happy you did this you wanted to do this with me. I think it's great. And, we obviously, you have a lot of ball knowledge playing D1 hoops for Texas Tech. And, you've been, like I said on the last time you were on here with me, me and you go way back, as the younger kids say nowadays. And so I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Alex, okay, we got it. We are not old, okay? Kind of from a different generation now. We are still in our 20s, all right? And I'm going to embrace every single second of it. We are not old, we are wise.
See,
Okay.
I'm in my last year of my 20s. I'm 29, so I am hurting. You're still 28, right?
I'm 28.
Yeah. See, I'm old. I'm old. So for the listeners, basically, we're here to talk ball. We're here to talk primarily college hoops. Starting out, me and Zuri talked about it for a little bit. We kind of want to jump right into women's college hoops, men's college hoops. We'll probably dabble eventually in with a little bit of NBA, WNBA. Obviously, the season's over right now. I've got my Lexi Hull jersey behind me, my Indiana Fever, Stranger Things. It's November, so we're getting a little weird right now, and the new season's about to come out, so had to wear it. But I think that all the listeners, I think you all are really going to enjoy this one, especially for our folks back home in Southern Indiana. Where me and Zuri grew up. I think it'll be great. And then obviously you bring a big perspective just from Texas, just from the whole state. Now you're in Dallas and you played at Texas Tech. I got cut in high school, so I don't have that perspective. I played rec league at UK for a little while. I played, probably a couple seasons there. Um, got to where I was dunking. And then I maybe started partying a little bit too much, and then I couldn't dunk anymore. But I have obviously big aspirations with the University of Kentucky, a lot of connections there. So we're going to try to bring in some big names to join us throughout the process and really just have as much fun as possible. And who knows, hopefully it takes off. Hopefully we're on ESPN one day, Zuri.
I believe in affirmations, and we're going to put that into the atmosphere. I mean,
Yes.
we already have an amazing name, Bench, and you mentioned I did play at Tech, but I mean, people can look up my minutes. I was bench a majority. Okay. And that's okay. That's okay. Because when my coach looked at me and said, I need you to get in there and get a rebound, don't shoot it, get a rebound and give it to the player who's going to actually make the shot. I was going to get that rebound and I was going to get into the hands of the player who was going to make the shot. Okay. And I was going to get it between hell and high waters. All right. So
We'll see.
that's my claim to fame was you see me step on that court, I'm getting a rebound now. Okay.
Well, see, and that's the kind of player I love. That's the kind of player that I want to coach. That's the kind of player that I want to root for. So that would work perfectly fine for me. But you want to go ahead and jump right in, Zuri? You want to
Yeah,
jump right
let's
into some
do
women's
it.
hoops?
Because it
Okay.
is like officially college basketball season. And I don't know
Yep.
about you, but it was hard for me to sleep last night. Like I was tossing and turning because this is like our Christmas Eve. This is like
It
our
is.
New Year's Eve, right? Like
Yep.
it's just the emotions, the excitement. Obviously looking at the top 10 for the women's side, there are a lot of great games that started today, and there's going to be some great games that go on throughout the entire week. And so the top four are actually the same four who were in the Final Four earlier this year in Tampa. You got UConn at 1, you got South Carolina at 2, UCLA at 3, and Texas at 4. And selfishly, those are the 4 teams that I actually have in the Final Four again this year, with the exception of maybe a few, depending on how they look in this non-conference. It's going to be exciting. But, let's just start it up with number 1 UConn, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people look at that team losing a Paige Beckers, but they still have a phenomenal roster. I mean, you have Sarah Strong coming back, you have Fudd coming back, you have Arnold coming back, you have some other great guards that really stepped up last year in postseason play who are going to be phenomenal for them. They also got some really big time transfers in the portal. They got Kaylee Heckle from USC. They got Sarah Williams for Wisconsin, who is just going to be phenomenal defensively and offensively. And I'm really excited to see her and Sarah Strong together. That's why I got UConn, of course, going back to the Final Four, because that roster just looks amazing. Their first test is going to be tomorrow against number 20 Louisville, which is going to be an exciting thing to watch. I mean, I'm all for watching, big time matchups, first of the season. We had Baylor.
Absolutely.
Exactly. And that's what the excitement is, right? Like,
yep.
Of course, you can watch the games where you're playing like smaller D1s or mid majors against Power 4 schools, and you're watching the dominance within that Power 4 school. But it's also exciting to see Power 4s going against Power 4s, especially from different conferences, right? Because it gives you a little bit of a taste for what you're going to see for March Madness, which we all love, right?
Yes,
And
absolutely.
at 2, you have South Carolina, and right now they're actually playing against Grand Canyon. They were up going to the half last time I checked. And that's actually a great matchup that I was really looking forward to, because Grand Canyon's new head coach, he was an assistant for Don, these last seasons. So that was the excitement, him going to Grand Canyon and just seeing how he's going to, build that culture over there. Especially because, he's won a national championship with Don Saley, right?
Right.
So that's one question that went into play. And another thing that goes into play, obviously, for the South Carolina roster is, a lot of people, yes, they talk about your starting 5, but they also talk about the momentum that comes off of the bench and how that intensity can be raised. And so this past season, Mylasia Fulwiley decided to enter her name into the transfer portal from South Carolina. And she decided to stay in the SEC, like your shirt said, it just means more. She wanted to stay in the SEC, but she did not want to stay home, and she went to LSU. So that was a big conversation of what are they going to look like with that intensity coming off the bench from Mylasia, But South Carolina has some really, really big returners. They have Raven Johnson, Tessa Johnson, Joyce Edwards, and then they also got a really key transfer from Florida State, Tanaya Latson. Oh my gosh, side story with her. Usually whenever you're playing an opposing team, right, you don't want to give the benefit of the doubt to the other players, no matter how good you think they are, right? And so
right.
I was with Texas Tech. We actually played Florida State when Tanaya was there. And can she play? Oh my God. And obviously, you don't want to be saying that to your players. You got to find a way to be able to stop greatness within her, but she is a pro. And seeing her under, Don Staley's leadership this year, I'm really excited to see how she grows to prepare her for the W. But on the other side of that, for South Carolina, they did have 2 really big players who are going to be out for this upcoming season. They have Watkins and then Chloe Kitts, who it came out that she tore her ACL. So
yeah, that was sad. That was sad to see that, Chloe Kitts. Yeah.
You don't want that, especially with her last year. That's just, it's a heartbreaker. It was a heartbreaker. But
100%.
Yeah.
Staley, she'll still have him running though. I mean,
exactly. She knows how to run a tight ship. Okay.
Yeah.
She ain't playing with that.
No, she's not.
So
Not at all.
And that's how you can show greatness within a squad, right? Like when your numbers are down, how can you be able to still show up? And so with that leadership of South Carolina, I think that's going to be great. And then at 3, you have UCLA. They actually play at 9 our time. You know, they're on that West Coast time now. So
10 my time. 10 my time, Zuri.
Oh, that is your. Oh yeah, because you're Eastern, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm really gonna be up late tonight.
Oh, bless your heart. It takes me back to times when I used to beg my dad to let me watch the Lakers game at night. It's way
I'd watch Kobe.
Yeah, you have to, right? You
watch Kobe.
But that's going to be a great game. And then they also have a strong returning core. You know, they have Lauren Betts, Kiki Rice, Gabriella Gardner. Like they have even a big key transfers. Neepkins from Utah. They also have a really, really nice freshman class. Lauren's little sister, Sienna Betts, who was number 2 in this 2025 class. Really excited to see how she maneuvers in that offense, especially because that core that's returning back, they're all upperclassmen. You know what I mean? So really excited to see how that meshes. But, you know, Sienna has big sis Lauren on that roster too to really help her. And I think that's going to be exciting to see. The big sister, little sister, I might get a little PTSD from whenever me and Zion played. Oh boy, she was not afraid to let me have
it. When you and Zion played them?
No, when we played together, you know, that sister.
Oh, yeah. I'm with you now.
Zion's the only person I would ever let talk to me a certain way because I know she's loving plays. But she was also my point guard. So you know what? You gotta yell at me to do something, yell at me, but don't expect me to be nice when we get home later, okay?
Hey, 100%. But hey, you all made it work because y'all both played D1 basketball. So I think y'all were both fine in who you were talking to.
Well, I'm a little jealous because that girl has some rings now. You know, the only ring I got is from when I graduated college. My ring.
So does she have? She obviously has a Big Ten ring, right?
Yeah, and then she also, because they went to the Elite Eight too when she was there. Yeah, so
okay, with Caitlin, right?
The Elite Eight was actually no, I don't think that was that her last year. I think that was her last year. Yeah, Elite Eight was.
Okay.
No, I gotta ask her. She's going to be.
We got to get Zion on the pod.
We do, because she's gonna be so mad at me for not remembering this. I just know she's gonna say something, and I'm just gonna look at her and have to apologize and take accountability, like a big sister does. You know,
you will. Hey, I mean, sometimes we have to do that, especially the older we get. We definitely have to, kind of own up to our mistakes. So it's okay. It's all good. It's all good. But sorry to cut you off.
Oh, you're good.
Keep going with your top 10.
I absolutely love it. And then obviously at 4, you have Texas. Really excited to see, you know, them at action too, because their key returners are going to be Booker. She was averaging 16.3. You know, she just has such a smooth game. You know, her midi is just automatic. And then just how she sees the floor. And she's a tall guard. Like, when she came in as a freshman when they were in the Big 12, my first thought was, yep, that's going to be a number 1 draft pick whenever she graduates, because she's just wow. And when she first came in, like, and this is where I give so much praise to this kid, is because when she first came into Texas, you know, she wasn't going to be their original point guard. It was going to be Roy Harmon, who's been their point guard. And Roy ended up having a season-ending injury. So Madison had to step in that role. And did she step in? She took over as a point guard. She did what she needed to do. And I had to tip my hat off to that, because doing that at the Power 4 level, you know, as a freshman, and she got the accolades that she deserved after that year too. So
it's a big deal.
It's a huge deal. And they have a phenomenal post presence as well. So I'm really excited to see how they continue to grind in the SEC. And then at 5, you have LSU. They start their season debut tomorrow against Houston Christian. And they have a very notable high upside. You know, Big Foe. Yes. Yes, I'm excited to see how she plays this year. And then obviously you have Michaela Williams. And then, you know, you have Cavalt, who's their post player. And then I'm really excited to see Mylasia Fulwiley as well with this roster. You know, full transparency, a lot of people were really wondering, how is she going to fit into the system with Kim Mulkey? Like, is Mylasia going to be a starter? Because she wasn't a starter at USC, right, at South Carolina. And that's the conversation. And I come from a household where my parents wanted us to get out of the house, okay? Because they want us to be able to learn how to become independent, grow on our own, and go through things where they're not in our back door, right?
Right.
And so
Right.
we don't know what's going on through anyone's heads, right? We can't read minds, but what we can see is growth that can happen because of the potential that is in a player. And there's a lot of potential in Mylasia Fulwiley. And so I was someone who was actually excited to watch her spread her wings and go to LSU, because I want to see what she does away from her hometown and how she really grows under Kim Mulkey's leadership.
Right.
So I think
Well,
that's
that's a pretty good leadership. That's some pretty
okay.
good leadership to have.
I
Yeah.
know when she was at Baylor, one thing I loved her passion.
Yeah.
And that's something that, and Kim Mulkey was not afraid to show it now. And sometimes
No,
I'm thinking when
not at
you're
all.
playing, you're like, oh my gosh. But at the same time, like, let's be honest, I'm a passionate person. You can tell even
Yes.
right now I'm moving, right? Like, I'm passionate, especially when I'm talking about basketball. And
Yeah.
so if we don't judge these men's basketball coaches and not say stuff about them, then we can't be judging Kim Mulkey. If she wants to throw her jacket into the stands, girl,
She
throw
can do
that
it.
jacket into the stands. I want to be
Yep.
the one who catches it, because that thing is not getting expensive. But you know what? I love it. It's basketball season, right? They're
Absolutely.
all bets
Absolutely.
are off.
Absolutely.
And then at 6, we have OU. Really excited to see this roster. OU is known for fast pace, right? Like, that was a game that I remember when I played. It doesn't matter what coach, they're just always known for fast pace. So like when we played against them, I remember me and my teammates used to always have to talk about being in shape for this game, because we know it's going to be a high scoring game. And that's just what they're known for. I mean, they're known to have a fast paced. And this year they have some really key players who are returning. You have Reagan Beers, who was averaging, over 17 points last year and over 9 rebounds per game. And she's going to have a phenomenal year this year. They actually just, I think, did they? Yep, that game's over. They played Belmont earlier today, and Reagan had a phenomenal showing. I actually have it in my notes. They had 4 starters who were in double figures, and Beers ended up having 29 and 10 tonight. So I think that he is making a statement, a big statement.
Yeah.
So definitely keep eyes on her. And then obviously you have Peyton Verhulst, who is one of their top guards, right? She brings a lot to that roster, averaging almost 15 points last year. Can shoot the ball, can do a lot of great things. And then Sahara Williams. And then obviously when you look at their freshman class, you have Aaliyah Chavez, who was the number 1 2025 player in this last class. So and I believe that she even had a phenomenal starting game. I want to say I saw a clip actually on Twitter, and it was an Aaliyah Chavez style, which I love. She's known for her phenomenal shooting. Like, she can shoot the ball. And her first collegiate points was a 3-pointer. I mean, what's better than that, right?
What can you say, right?
Exactly. And that thing was deep. So,
right.
And it makes sense, you had Trae Young there. Trae Young, his dad played at Texas Tech, Lubbock area. So with her being a Norman, we're going to see a couple things of her shooting like Trae Young out there, right? Like, it's
Trae Young can shoot.
Yes, he can. Yes, he can.
Yep.
But that's going to be exciting to see them, especially in SEC play. And then, at 7, it's Duke. But after today, I'm wondering where they're going to go in the standings. What are your thoughts on that? They played Baylor today in Paris, which I think is historic within itself. And Baylor, they left everything out on that court with a phenomenal performance from Talia Scott with having 24 points. What are your thoughts with that game?
Well, first of all, I think it's awesome that they're playing overseas, and I think that just kind of speaks to volumes about where women's basketball is headed. I don't think, though, that it's going to hurt. I mean, it could hurt them a little bit, down the long run, especially losing to a number 16 Baylor team. Losing 58-52. But again, you're getting those first game jitters out. And you played college basketball, you played basketball your whole life. That first game, it can just kind of really all come down to I've got to get these out of me the first time, and then the next game we'll prepare better, we'll be ready to bounce back. I think Duke's going to be just fine. I think Baylor's also a really good team. Scott, she ended up with 24 points tonight. And looks like she kind of really just led the way. Excuse me, 7 of 18 from the field goal, behind the field goal line, from the free throw line. Sorry, I can't speak right now for some reason. But I think Duke's going to be just fine. But I just think that Big 12 ball is tough, and I think it's a lot like the SEC. It's very athletic. It's very physical. As you know, you played in it. And so I think Duke's going to be just fine. You travel on a plane, however many hours that is to get over to Paris. I've been to Barcelona before. I know it took like, I can't remember, like 10 or probably 14, 10 hours, somewhere around in there. It's a long flight. There probably weren't a ton of their own fans there, just because that's a big time, that's a big time trip to head over there. But like I said, it's first game of the season, and I just think that they'll bounce back just fine. Baylor's a good team as well, and like I said, when you have a girl playing, Scott having 24 points, 7 of 18 from behind the arc, and then or not from behind the arc, but just from the field goal, from field goal, and then when you're shooting 8 of 10 from the free throw line, you're probably going to win a basketball game.
Yeah.
So
yeah, very locked in for that. I think, and even to your point, right? Like, Duke, the ACC, it's loaded with a lot of great teams, right? So,
yep.
And they have a really nice non-conference to be able to bounce back from. And I think with this too, they played to what you said. You have to account for travel. You're playing against another top 25 opponent, and then on top of that, like, everyone has first game jitters, right?
Yep.
So like, you got to take everything with a grain of salt with that, and I think they can definitely learn a lot from this first game of the season, and being able to build on that. And so,
Zuri,
yeah,
I was playing Castle South, and I was sleeping like 3 hours the night before because I'm like so nervous.
Oh, Castle South.
Back to my eighth grade, yeah.
Really love that one.
Back to my eighth grade days. I mean, I'm sitting there, I can't even sleep. I'm sweating, trying to. I mean, we're playing arch rival Castle South, and I'm having a hard time going to bed. But
That's
so
awesome.
I can only imagine what it feels like to be, playing at that level, and obviously you have. But no, I think Duke's going to be just fine. And you keep going, but like I said, I think they're going to be just fine.
No, I agree. And then on top of that, I mean, last year they got some hardware with being the 2025 ACC tourney champs, right? So it's like they have a very, very impressive resume. Kara Lawson being their head coach, like an All-American, they'll be just fine. I'm not
Yep.
worried about them. And then they have great leadership. But,
Yep.
right after Duke, you have Tennessee at 8. And Tennessee's roster is going to be really exciting, especially because last year it was Caldwell's first year, and they went 24-10 overall. They had a very strong offensive presence. They were shooting 86.6 points per game last year. Like, I think that is phenomenal. That's very high pace. And that's hard when you're playing the SEC, because like, if you're looking at the top 10, 5 of these 10 teams are from the SEC. So like,
crazy.
that I think that is an incredible first year to really build off of, especially because this year, they have some really key returners. They have Spearman, and then they have Boyd, and then they have some phenomenal transfers that came in. Nia Robertson from SMU, Jersey. They have Janiah Barker, who came from UCLA, but Janiah is no stranger to the SEC because she started at Texas A&M. And then she went to UCLA, and then she's coming back to Tennessee. So I'm really excited to see. They did dismiss Ruby Whitehorn, though. That was some news that we heard, and I hate that for that kid, mainly because, being a part of a program, especially at that level, whether you're a player or even on a coaching staff, you're 18 to 22 years old. And the pressure that's going on through those kids' lives, like, obviously she had the one situation first, and then she was brought back to the team. And then this situation, I hate it because it's like one of those spots. I mean, we were all young at some point, right? Like, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I can't think of any person that was ever completely perfect in their 20s.
Yep.
Um,
Nope.
so coming back from the first incident and then, you're given grace to be able to come back and then making another mistake too, my heart goes out for her. I truly do believe that she'll learn from this, because I've noticed that when people kind of hit that rock bottom and they realize things are, then you start to realize, okay, these are my blessings. This is what I need to learn from, and this is how I can grow. And I am rooting for her to be able to build off of that. And I say that because, I was a player that had a lot of teammates that went through a lot of things too. And it's heartbreaking to see because it's like we're trying to juggle so much from being 18 to 22, and we think we have all the answers, and we think we know what's best, but we have mentors and people who are trying to look out for us and be there for us. And, sometimes we don't want to take their advice. And sometimes we have to learn the hard way. And
Yep.
that's being able to lose something that we really cherish. And I really do hope the best for her, moving forward. And so, with Tennessee, I'm excited to see what their season looks like this year, and see where they start up. They're actually going to end up playing NC State for their season opener, tomorrow. So, and
It's
NC
a big
State
one.
for 9, it's going to be a huge one.
Yep.
NC State, their co-champs for the regular season for last year for the ACC, they had some really notable departures for their seniors. They lost some really key players, but they got Camille, who's a transfer, and NC State, they're known to be a program with momentum. So excited to see how they build off of that. And then obviously you have Maryland at 10. They're currently playing Loyola Maryland. They did lose a significant portion of their veterans though. So intrigued to see how that kind of looks, this year, but they have the leadership, they have the experience, and I'm excited to see how they do in non-con and also in Big Ten play.
Yeah, and just back to Ruby Whitehorn, she obviously was going to play a big piece on this team, scoring 11, averaging 11 last year, 4 rebounds. She was 46.3% from the field goal. It is really sad. I did read about that when it happened. I still don't know all the details, obviously, but sometimes you just kind of get in with the wrong people, and it just kind of spirals out of control a little bit. But like you said, hopefully she'll make a comeback, because she obviously has a lot to offer, to any women's college basketball program and just to life in general. So you never want to wish anything on anybody's downfall or anything like that. So hopefully she can come back stronger and better, and hopefully just learn from it. So
yeah, definitely. But that top 10, I think, is really strong. And then obviously the whole top 25. I mean, women's basketball, I've always kept my eye on it for a very long time. I love the fact that it's starting to get the recognition that it has always deserved.
Yes.
And, a lot of people like to say, and this is my bias, a lot of people like to say, obviously, and it is truthful, obviously the class of Paige Beckers, they had Cameron Brink, they had Angel Reese, obviously, in that. You also have Caitlin Clark. They were coming in all together, technically. And then obviously some injuries happened for some of those players along the way in their college career that gave them another year of eligibility. But they had a following out of high school that continued that momentum into whatever school they went to in college, and that built on it. And so I love the fact that so many new fresh eyes are getting on women's basketball, and I tip my hat to those girls and obviously that generation. I come from a time where I committed to Texas Tech. The first thing that I said out of my mouth whenever I got the phone call was, oh my gosh, Cheryl Swoops played there. Like, knowing that yeah, like the
Yep.
school that Cheryl Swoops played at is calling me. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, that is like
Pretty
the first
cool.
in my mind, right? And so I love the fact that, these women who are working day in and day out are starting to get the recognition that they definitely deserve. And the numbers don't lie for themselves. You see the people who are tuning into these games, who are paying attention to March Madness during that time. A lot of more people are filling out more brackets for the women's side, and I love to see it.
Well, and just me being a Kentucky fan, we're super excited about Kenny Brooks. He obviously had a good run at Virginia Tech. He brought in Georgia Amore last year. Brought in Claire Strack from Virginia Tech. Got to give a little love to my Wildcats who won tonight, 75-59 against Morehead State. We're ranked. We're ranked this year again. So Clara, she scored 15 points tonight, and Jordan Obi had a big game tonight as well.
Yeah, she's gonna be great.
So yeah. So it's kind of just next man up or next woman up mentality, excuse me. And so because we've had some injuries, but I'm excited. I need to get over there to a game this season. I haven't been since Kenny's been in the building, so I really need to get over there to a game and show the Lady Cats some love. So
Yeah. Yeah, I think you do. They have a great roster. I think you'll have a great time too. I loved watching Kenny Brooks, even when he was at BT. He can do a lot with a roster that he recruits, and I know he tips his hat off to obviously his coaching staff with bringing in those kids. So really excited to see him going into another year at Kentucky, and just watching how this year goes for him.
absolutely. So Zuri, let's go ahead and do your Final Four from the women's side. I know you kind of hit on it a little bit. Just kind of run us back through who you got in the Final Four from the women's side, and then we'll go through that best or MVP of the year. We'll call it the National Player of the Year award. Who you going to give that to as well? So we'll go with Final Four first for the women's side.
So my Final Four are going to be the top four teams right now. Obviously, I think it's going to be run back this year for the Final Four in Arizona. I think it's going to be UConn, Texas, UCLA, and South Carolina. All four of those rosters look great. Obviously, I know that South Carolina has gotten some hits with, obviously Watkins and Chloe Kitts being out. And then losing Mylasia Fulwiley. But, it's just Dawn Staley knows how to always pull it together. And the reason why I stay optimistic about it is because this past WNBA season, I watched the Las Vegas Aces struggle at the beginning of their season. And a lot of people were thinking they're going to have to make some big time changes either in the middle of the season or after the season's over. People were even calling for Becky Hammond's job. Look who won another championship. You know what I'm saying?
I know, right?
It all comes down to the leadership, and that actually leads me into my player of the year. Speaking of, so there are so many great women's college players out there right now, so many phenomenal ones. And obviously when people talk about who the player of the year is going to be for the women's side, people are saying Sarah Strong at UConn, they're saying Lauren Betts at UCLA, they're saying obviously they're giving Hannah Hidalgo like at Notre Dame. You don't want to leave out Audie Crooks, obviously at Iowa State. You have Olivia Miles who left Notre Dame, who's at TCU. There's so many great names. I mean, Madison Booker, I gotta say Big Foe. I love saying that. It's fun, you know what I'm saying? And then obviously Tanaya Latson, who's at South Carolina. So many great names in that pot. I am going to tip my hat off to it's so hard. I think I'm gonna have to go with Sarah Strong. I think she's the player of the year this year. The girl's so good. She's so good. I mean, when you're being compared as a freshman to Maya Moore, yeah.
Well, for everybody at home, you heard it here first. That's who Zuri's got. So then, since you just rolled through your Final Four, who's your national champion?
I honestly think UConn might go back to back. If it's not UConn, UCLA could have a really, really big shot at it just because, I mean, they're returning a really solid core, solid core. But I think UConn's going to go back to back on that one.
Okay. Fair enough. I will roll through my top 10. Zuri covered really just as best as you ever could because she's going to be my women's basketball, if you will, teacher for this year, just because I have a lot to learn just about the women's game. I can tell you, talk to you about Kentucky just from reading articles here. I could talk to you a little bit about South Carolina, UConn, obviously, with Gino, because who doesn't know Gino? And that's really kind of it. Obviously, Kim Mulkey. But I'm excited to do this with you because I'm going to learn a lot. And so I'm really excited about that. Just to roll off my top 10 right now. So I got to do this because I'm wearing the SEC shirt. I'm going South Carolina at 1. Okay. I'm going UConn at 2. Texas is my 3. UCLA at my 4. LSU at my 5. Oklahoma is going to be at 6. We're still going to keep Duke there at the 7 spot, even though they lost tonight. Because by the time this comes out, it'll be tomorrow anyways. And so we're just going to roll with that. Tennessee rounding out at 8. And then NC State at 9. Again, we talked about how big that matchup's going to be tomorrow. So for the listeners that we'll have this podcast out hopefully later this evening, tomorrow morning. That's going to be an awesome matchup. And then, NC State at 9, and then I got Maryland at 10. So that's going to be my top 10. I really think, like you said, I think that top 4 is who's going to make the Final Four. I've got USC, UConn, Texas, UCLA. I think you'd be silly to leave out at least USC or UConn. USC Junior is what we call them in the SEC, not the University of Southern California. We actually call them that in football. Us Kentucky fans do. But I don't think they're USC Junior in women's college basketball, though. I think they're the dogs. So, that's who I'm going to go for my Final Four. As far as my national champion, I'm going to roll with the Gamecocks. I just have to, and I also don't want to piggyback off of you completely. So I'm going to go Dawn. She's going to get it done again. I like what she's doing with the program. It's hard to be a hater. I just think that between her and Gino, it's just crazy what she obviously has a long way to go to catch up with him, but she's probably going to be there one day if she stays in the game long enough.
Absolutely.
So that's what I'm going to roll with. And then as my national player of the year, I'm going to go with Madison Booker at Texas. Average 16.3 a game last year. I just think she has a lot to offer, and I think that she's going to lead Texas to a Final Four. And yeah, well, and like you said earlier, she had some big shoes to fill. Last year, she stepped into that role really well, and I think she'll do it again this year. And who knows? Maybe could have a Texas South Carolina championship. I don't know. Probably not. UConn will probably be in it somehow or another. But that's what I'm going to go off of. I didn't want to say the exact same thing as you, so that's what I'm going to roll with. So yeah. Anything else that you kind of want to run through about the women's side before we jump over to the men's?
No, I'm really excited to see, obviously this upcoming season. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. I'm obviously as we're going on with this podcast, I keep refreshing my scores.
Well, and I saw South Carolina was up on Grand Canyon like 71-38. That was the last.
Yeah, because going into the half, it was about a 20-point game. Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely South Carolina, they're back as usual, despite the injuries. So but yeah, I guess we can go ahead and jump over to the men's side. Let me get a drink of water here real quick. But so Zuri, do you want to go ahead and run through your top 10 for the men's side real quick?
Yeah, definitely.
Or not real quick, as much time as you want.
Yeah, no, I got you. So this is for the women's side, obviously I went off of ESPN and then kind of threw in I agreed with it. I think that was a great top 10 to have for ESPN. And then obviously for the men's side, I did just up a little bit because I am biased. I did, go to Texas Tech now.
Yep.
And we have JT Toppin, he's looked at as one of the player of the year. You know what I mean? So
he very well could win it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, yeah. And so I have Purdue at 1. I do have Houston at 2. I have Florida at 3. I have, because I'm excited to see Boozer. Yeah, so I have Duke at 4,
Okay.
and then I
Yep.
have UConn at 5. I have Michigan at 6, St. John's at 7, and then I have BYU at 8. I have Texas Tech at 9 and Kentucky at 10.
Okay. Why do you have Kentucky at 10? No, I'm just kidding. So give me a little rundown on Tech and how you think they're going to play a big role on the men's side this year.
Yeah. I mean, they have a great roster this year. Obviously, they did lose some really key players from their roster, especially when it comes to like shooting, losing Chance McMillan, I think that was really big time. And it kind of showed a little bit in the games that he didn't play in last year. But obviously, when you're returning a player like JT Toppin, that speaks for itself, right?
Yep.
Being able to kind of center. And the thing is, a lot of people, I I talked about it earlier in this podcast. I'll repeat it again. I love a rebounder, okay?
Yep.
Because you can't do anything without rebounding. You can't get another
Nope.
shot on offense if you don't get an offensive rebound. You can't get your possession if you don't get a defensive rebound. Like, rebounding matters, and that's why I took great pride in it. And when you look at the things that JT Toppin does, I mean, he's always on the glass. It's like you can try to throw your entire 5 men on the court at him, and he's going to find a way to get that rebound. So
Right.
obviously, and also like there's something about obviously McCaslin that he knows how to really get his team like riled up. So JT, he's coming off of a phenomenal year last year. His stats, he had, 18 points a game he was averaging, and then he was averaging almost 10 rebounds to a game. He was
Right.
shooting 55% from the field, which I think is great. They open up their season tomorrow to start off, but even looking at his numbers from postseason last year, like he did some really big things. He was averaging literally like a double double basically. Besides, the
Yep.
first round when he only had 6 rebounds. But other than that, I mean, you
Right.
have first round 11 and 6, second game 12 and 11, next game 25 and 12, 20 and 10, 20 and 11. Like, just building off of his performances. And, the team obviously can circle around that. And that's something that they take pride in is their defense and their shooting too from Texas Tech. So really excited to see, overall what it's going to look like going into this year with that roster.
Yeah, absolutely. And Big 12 ball, I mean, it is no slouch at all. Obviously, Kansas, they've been just Kansas for years. And so I think Tech, this could be a great year for Tech to come out and prove that they can belong up there at the top too. I know Bill Self, he's kind of had some health issues and he's kind of gone down a little bit. They actually had a big win in an exhibition game against Louisville last week, but I think I've got Tech in my top 10 as well. And JT Toppin obviously has a lot to do with that. Who do you have now in your Final Four for the men's side?
But even also to build off, sorry, I had this quick point because I want to talk a little bit about Kansas, right? Like when you think about them as a blue blood, like Kansas, they're a top team. I mean, they just won a natty not too long ago, right? So, and then being able to build off that roster. And last year, it was kind of a rocky year for them.
21.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And then going to this year, they were ranked in the ESPN rankings at 19. So like right now at the half, they're up 48-27 on Green Bay, but like they play North Carolina this Friday, and that's going to be a big time game, and it's going to be a big time test for them too. And then they got Duke in a couple of weeks, so it's like I'm really intrigued.
Champions Classic.
Yes, I'm really intrigued to see what this roster looks like this year. Because people were really excited for the roster last year, and it was very inconsistent, right? With just
I mean they got out. Yeah, they got out in the round of 64.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Yeah. But also, Kansas, like the Big 12, it's different now. Like it is a strong conference on the men's side.
Right.
And then, like, I mean, even looking at the top 10, they have a couple of teams. I mean, they have Houston, BYU, and Texas Tech, three of the Big 12 teams in the top 10 for the ESPN rankings, and my
And BYU,
rankings too. But still,
well, and BYU is going to be pretty crazy.
yeah, AJ is going to be, oof.
AJ can play, yeah. And then just kind of the NIL money and everything that they're getting out of some donors, and then they're getting some help from the Utah Jazz for management there, which is, I mean, if you can use it as a tool, I don't see why not. To be honest with you, use it to your advantage, and obviously it's helping them in recruiting. So. But yeah, like you said, Kansas, they were out round of 64 last year, round of 32 the year before that, and round of 32 the year before that. But then before that, they were the national champion in 21 and 22. So it's always hard to count Bill Self out. Hopefully, I'm not a Kansas fan at all, but obviously I wish Bill Self the best health and all the things so that they can have a good year, because what's college basketball without Kansas being good? So let's be real.
Yep. It's like if Duke wasn't ranked, like what's college basketball without Duke being ranked, right? It's just
100%.
so hand in hand. And even to that point too, with like talking of Bill Self, it's going to be a sad day when he decides to walk away from it. Like we were all extremely sad whenever Coach K walked away from it. We were all extremely sad when Roy Williams decided to walk away from it. And it's like understanding that next, step of this new version of who's coaching and the new realm of it. It's like, it's crazy because what we're used to is Coach K. What we're used to is Roy Williams. What we're used to is Rick Pitino, right? We're used to
Jim Boeheim.
Oh, yes, Jim Boeheim. Like we're used to seeing these coaches on the sidelines, and it's just like bittersweet just knowing that these chapters are very close to closing,
Can't say I was really upset when Coach K retired, but I was tired of them winning. I mean, they're still winning. They're still winning, right? But like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I mean, he's the greatest of all time for now. I mean, he just is, Kentucky fan or not. So I wasn't upset when he left, but they'll be fine. Duke's just fine. So who do you have in the Final Four? Who's your Final Four picks for the men's?
So of course I have Texas Tech.
Yeah, no, nothing wrong with that at all.
And for my Texas Tech people who could be watching this, do not burn down Broadway. If you win the championship, don't do it again. Do not burn down Broadway, okay? But I have Texas Tech in there. I do have Duke. I have Purdue. And then you know what? I think we got to get Rick Pitino back in there.
I like that pick a lot.
John's. I have St. John's actually in there too.
They're gonna. I'll get to mine here in just a second, but just to talk about St. John's, they got Ian Jackson coming in, and then my Kentucky boy Bryce Hopkins, he transferred to Ed Cooley at Providence, and then he was there for another year, and then now he's at St. John's, and so I think he's the perfect Rick Pitino player. And I think that they brought in a lot of talent, and I've started to fall back in love with Rick Pitino despite his Louisville flaws. But he's coming around. Pope was his coach. Mark Pope was his coach, and so I'm starting to really like Rick Pitino a lot more now, and what he's doing at St. John's, you can't hate. So, and I mean, he won Kentucky a national championship, took them to another one in '97, and then 98 team was Tubby Smith. We got to give credit to Tubby, but that was Rick's team. That was Rick's team. But
you just can't let us Tech people have nothing, can you? Because
no.
I was telling people up and down, when we got Tubby, he's won a national championship. You can't let us have nothing.
No, I love Tubby. I mean, Tubby was my. I mean, that's who I grew up watching for Kentucky. He was the coach. mean, I remember my first trip to Rupp Arena, watching him and his wife eat breakfast at the Hyatt Regency downtown. Like, got his autograph. Tubby was amazing. I always loved his teams. They always had great defense, a lot of grit, and they would always just play super physical.
Yeah.
And that was actually back when guys would stay around for 3 or 4 years at the same program. So I also liked that as well. Not hating on the transfer portal stuff or anything, but I mean, Tubby was my guy growing up as a kid. So I loved him. I think by the time he got to Tech, though, he was a little kind of worn out. He was getting older, and that's just kind of what happens. The trade of the business. So that just happens. But and then, so I'm sorry. Did you go ahead with your National Player of the Year?
Okay, again, I'm biased. You just say it with me. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
JT Toppin.
You just knew. Yeah, you knew. You knew. But also, I think I want to also throw in Smith at Purdue. He's exciting to watch. Yeah. So I think those are my two, but obviously I'm gonna have to throw JT out there.
Yeah, I mean, JT, I love the way he plays. He averages 18 a game. I mean, dude's a go-getter. Averaged 9 boards a game last year. I really like his game. Like you said, I like guys that can go out, guys and girls that can go out, get rebounds, smack the floor. I really like what he brings to the Tech team, and I've actually got them in my top 10 as well. So I will go over to now my top 10.
Yes.
Which, like I told you earlier, it has kind of taken me a little bit because I just can't come to a conclusion. But to start off at number 1, and before I say this, let me go ahead and say the score because they are playing wire to wire right now with Arizona. Last I checked, now it's 79-75 with 3:50 to go. Florida is the number 3 team. Florida is losing to Arizona right now. While we're recording this,
Koa Pete's going crazy. Koa Pete is going crazy. Great, great. So one of his sisters, Maya Pete, she played at Tech. One of the sweetest human beings I've ever met in my life. And so I remember whenever he was about to make his decision, like I felt like we were all asking her, like, "Where's he gonna go? Where's he gonna go?" And obviously, she's not gonna tell us, right? Like, make it for his. An amazing family. Like the Pete family is an amazing family, and so I was really excited to see what he does at Arizona, and I was actually shocked to see him stay at home. Well, no, not really, because I'm all for a hometown hero. I love that story. So seeing him stay there, I loved it.
Tommy Lloyd's a heck of a coach too. He's kind of a new and up and comer as well. Even though Florida's losing right now, I've got to take them at 1. They're the national champions. I'm gonna eat crow for this because they're probably gonna lose, but I'm going Florida at 1. I think Todd Golden, he obviously put a heck of a team together last year. They lost Walter Clayton, obviously, to the NBA draft. But bringing back Alex Condone, that's a huge piece to bring back. You bring over Boogie Flan from Arkansas. He's a stud. And then Xavier Lee from Princeton, the transfer from Princeton. He, before we got on here, I'll be honest, I didn't watch a lot of Princeton basketball last year, if I'm being honest with you. But I was watching him get to the rim, and man, he is explosive and fun to watch. I think he's a great addition. Obviously, Isaiah Brown, he'll be great. I just think the game's not over yet. There's still 3:50 left. Okay, so it is what it is. But I think for me, they're my number 1. They've got a lot of pieces, and you can't not take the number 1 off their chest until we crown a new national champion in March, or excuse me, April. So I'll go with them at number 1. I'm going to go Houston at 2. I think it's pretty obvious. Kelvin Sampson's been right there the last few years. think they bring back a great team. I'm also they'll in my opinion they'll be in the Final Four as well. And who knows? We're gonna have a lot of Indiana fans listening to this, so bless their little hearts because Kelvin Sampson he was killing it at Indiana until he made a little too many phone calls. But I think that he gets them back. I think he gets them to Indy to the Final Four, and I think they make a heck of a run. I'd be crazy to leave out Purdue at number 3. I think that Braden Smith, Fletcher Lawyer, I think that they're a heck of a duo. They've kind of won me some money a little bit over the years. So on FanDuel, maybe FanDuel will be a sponsor for us eventually, Zuri. I don't know. We'll see. But maybe me showing them some love right there, they'll show us some love.
Existence. I believe in that.
Yes, exactly. And then obviously Trey Coffin-Wren, TKR, stud. I have a soft spot for Indiana boys. Just growing up in Indiana, I know you do too as well. So those 3 being from Indiana, I like them a lot. They brought in Oscar Clough from South Dakota State. That's kind of one piece I'm a little bit worried about there for them. He can get boards and whatnot. He's a big presence. He's 6'11", but he's played at Washington State, and then he played at South Dakota State. We'll see if that can kind of transfer to Big Ten basketball, because Big Ten basketball is physical basketball. Especially down in the paint. Big Ten, I call it smart basketball and physical basketball. And so we'll see how he can battle. I'll get into this at the end of it, but Kentucky beat them in the exhibition game, and all the Purdue fans were like, it didn't matter, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm like, yep, I'd be saying the same thing too if I lost by 15 points,
Right.
But they're going to be fine. They're going to be great, actually. They've got a heck of a lot of talent. And you've got 3 guys that have been to a Final Four and a national championship. So, you can't go wrong there. So I'll move on to my next. And I've got the Johnnies, St. John's. I love what Pitino's brought in. I love Bryce Hopkins. I wish he could have stayed at Kentucky, just because he really didn't take off his freshman year at UK. He had one big game against LSU. I think he scored 15, 20 points, somewhere around in there. We lost him in the transfer portal. I just don't think Cal used him the right way. But I think, they brought in, like I said, Ian Jackson from North Carolina. I think he's obviously already a stud. That was a heck of a pickup. Bryce Hopkins, again, just a really, really just a grit player. He'll go get you a board, and then he'll dunk on you. So I really love his game. And then Rick. I mean, I love Rick now. I'm back on the Rick train. Some of my UK friends that watch this, they may not like that comment, but I'm back on the Rick train. I mean, the guy won Kentucky national championship. I can't hate on him. And funny enough, actually the team chaplain for that '96 team, and then also followed him to Louisville. He actually baptized me and married my parents.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Father Tony from Owensboro. Yep. So they and Mark Pope, Kentucky's coach, he knows him. And so he's RIP. He passed away. I believe it was this last year. So yeah, I always kind of have a soft spot for Rick in my heart. So pretty cool stuff. And then let's see, we'll jump to my number 5. How about the Kentucky?
Even build off of what you were saying. Like, I'm looking at the St. John's game that they played today against Quinnipiac, and they won 108-74 on that. And you talking about, Jackson, like I'm looking at his stats. Like this is a really, really nice stat line. I mean, in 15 minutes, he had 15 points, right? Like
Yep.
but he did have 3 personal fouls. So maybe it wasn't that nice of a stat line. But I
Still though,
mean,
50.
that's like goodness gracious. But actually, I take it all back. I mean, 15 points. He was 6 for 6 from the field, 100%, 3 for 3 from the 3-point line. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. In 15
He can
minutes,
play.
that's nice. That's nice.
He,
I hate the
he
fact
can
that they had
play.
3 fouls, but I would love to see what 3 fouls they were. But yeah, that's a nice stat line.
Me as well, and I mean, just watching a little bit of him last year at Carolina, he'll get up and guard you. He's not scared, so that's maybe where he did picked up a couple little touch fouls, which obviously that stinks. That sometimes that can kind of make me mad because I just kind of wish the refs would let him play a little bit more sometimes. But
Yeah.
you get it. But yeah, looks like Arizona's going to win this one. It's 85-78 with 1:40 to go. So so much for calling them the number one team in America. But whatever.
Koa P is he's going crazy. Last time I checked, he had 27 points. How much does he have now?
Let's see here. I'll have to check. 27. Goodness
He
gracious.
still had 27. Yeah, last time
Yeah,
I checked, 27.
yeah,
I scored again.
yeah. He's still got 27, or at least that's what it's showing. It's 86-80 now with 1:22 to go.
Well,
So,
I mean, him and Bradley are going crazy. Him and Jaden Bradley. I mean,
yep, they both have 27.
yeah, literally
So,
2-man game right there. I mean, Koa is 11 for 18 from the field, which is 61%. Hasn't even shot a three. From free throw line, he's 5 for 8.
and
And
to think that Jaden Bradley played at Alabama his freshman year with Nate Oates. So,
wow.
yeah, they're Arizona. Look, I mean, they deserve to be at the top 10 now. if they hold up,
Yes, point game now with 47 seconds. Yeah, that's going to be exciting.
Right. So at the 5 spot, this was a tough one for me. I'm going to go my Kentucky Wildcats. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that we're friends with, but my friends will like it. My friends here in Lexington will like that. I think that Pope did a very, very good job in the transfer portal. I think that going out, getting guys like Denzel Aberdeen, going out and getting Jalen Lowe from Pittsburgh, there's kind of a lot of questions circled around him. Can he shoot the ball? Can he not just, can he be more of a team player, basically? At Pittsburgh, he had to be the guy. He was the only guy.
Yeah.
So now he's got guys around him to pass the ball around to and make things happen. You got Colin Chandler as well. Those 3 guys in the backcourt. I think that's a pretty good backcourt. Had a little bit of trouble, not a little bit, a lot of bit of trouble against Georgetown on Thursday night. Me and Dad were there. I left with 13 minutes left in the game because I was so mad. Then you got Mo Diabate, the transfer from Alabama. He's your guy. He's your guy that goes out, gets in your face, plays defense, gets a board. I'm really excited about him. Obviously, we brought in Cam Williams from Tulane. Excited about him. And then we brought back Brandon Garrison. He's kind of got his flaws. I think he's just kind of one of those guys. He is who he is. He's going to come in, give you minutes. He'll get you some boards. He's super physical. He loves to fight. He hates Louisville. So when we play Louisville on November 11th next week, that'll be one to tune in for because Brandon Garrison will be throwing elbows. So that'll be fun to watch. But I think the most important piece for us, 2, is getting Jalen Lowe back healthy. He's hurt. Well, actually 3. Denzel Aberdeen, he's hurt right now, getting him back healthy. But I think the number one piece overall for us is going to be getting JQ Hardaway from Arizona State back healthy, coming off that ACL tear. I believe it was back in either late February or early March. And so I think once we can get the starting 5 with Jalen, with Mo Diabate, JQ in there at the 5. We'll see. We'll go Aberdeen in there, and then obviously Otega Owe with him coming back. That was huge. Got his jersey behind me. I think with those 5 in there, watch out. I think that Kentucky could be very, very good. I know I'm speaking a little biased. I know the listeners know that because they know me. Um, but I'm going with the Cats at 5. Then I'm going to switch over at the number 6 spot. And again, could eat crow because Kentucky plays Louisville next week on Tuesday, which is actually really crazy because this game is usually played right before Christmas or it's played after Christmas. So, starting it as the 3rd game of the season, it's not normal for the Kentucky U of L rivalry. But I think that they maybe even deserve to be over Kentucky in the rankings. Just kind of, we'll see what happens next Tuesday. Obviously, it depends on how healthy Kentucky can be. But they brought in a lot of really good transfer pieces. I'm going to run through these with you just real quick. Obviously, bringing in McNeely is huge. Dude can shoot the lights out of the basketball. Mikael Brown Jr., absolute stud. I really love Ryan Conwell's game from Xavier. He's also an Indianapolis kid, Indiana kid. But Isaac McNeely coming in, played in the ACC. So we'll see, he won't have much of a difference because he'll be in the same conference. And so I think he'll just kind of start off where he left off at Virginia. And I think he's a wonderful addition for them. I think Pat Kelsey, as much as I'm not the biggest Louisville fan, I think that Pat is going to have those guys going. And I'm really excited about it because I think that the Kentucky-Louisville rivalry is officially back. It had been kind of gone, not kind of, it was gone just because of Kenny Payne and all the problems that Louisville had. And so I think that finally that rivalry is going to be back, and it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. And then at that 6th spot, let's see, at the 7th spot, I've got Duke. I've got Duke. I think the 2 Boozer twins, I think they're going to be studs. What did Cam have the other night? He had a heck of a game. He had against Tennessee. I know it was just an exhibition game.
But still, he played phenomenal. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me pull up this box score real quick. I was looking at it, and honestly, I just couldn't believe it. Especially just as a true freshman. I know. Again, it wasn't a real game, but just coming in to Tennessee and playing the way he did, that's not playing like a freshman. So you've got to respect, and you've got to give respect when it's due.
Yeah. True.
Duke will obviously always be there. Let's see. I'm trying to pull this box score up here.
And who do they open the season up with? It's an SEC school, isn't it? Is it Texas or Tennessee?
So they open up. Yeah. So they open up against Texas tomorrow.
Okay.
I believe. Let's see. Let me fact check that. Yeah. Cam had 24 points up against at Tennessee. And that Amick kid from Tennessee, he's going to be a stud too. The true freshman. Let's see though. Duke, my computer will load. Good old Spectrum here. Let's see. You all probably have. Do you have Spectrum in Dallas too?
No, but I have my grandmother's password to her Spectrum.
There you go, Zuri. So hey, that's what I do too.
Yeah.
I just use mom and dad's. So
I know, I told my mom the other day because she had me filling out like my benefits and stuff for my job, and I said, you're gonna always still need your mother for things like helping you file the benefits for insurance, and then still paying your cell phone bill.
Yeah, I can't say anything there either. So yeah, I mean that's what they're there for, right? They love us.
Exactly.
But yeah, so Duke and Texas play tomorrow night. That's going to be a hell of a game. It's at the Spectrum Center in North Carolina, so where the Hornets play. But Duke's going to be just fine. And like you said, heck, you had them in your Final Four, didn't you?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. I mean, last year was crazy with Cooper Flagg and the team they had last year. John Shire, he's obviously a heck of a coach. He's done really well, feeding off of what Kay built there, and he's obviously their guy.
Yeah.
So they're going to be just fine. So here is where my top 10 gets a little bit crazy, and give me some grace, Kentucky fans, all my friends, everybody, give me a little bit of grace here, okay? I'm kind of a little bit excited about this because not a lot of people are going to say this, but I've got the Arkansas Razorbacks and Coach Cal in there at number 8.
I'll take that. And I think it wasn't until I watched them go, against Kentucky last year that I really started thinking like, okay, yeah. Because, like his last few years at Kentucky, it does make you start wondering, like, is he going to retire? Is he going to go to another school? Like, what does his future look like? And then going to Arkansas, my first thing was he's going to be really good because he has the donors of Bentonville, Arkansas. And if anyone knows, that's where Walmart originated. So there is money there. And he can find a way to get that money. So my first thought was like, oh, he's going to be able to bring some big time recruits here. And then obviously, kind of seeing the progression of how their season was. It wasn't until they played UK where I was like, this team has some very serious potential.
And that was the loudest I've ever heard Rupp Arena. I was there. It was, I was there. It was awesome until the second half, and then we lost.
Yeah,
but
more playing around.
Yeah. I mean, it was Zuri. We didn't sit for the first 13 minutes of the game. I was upper level.
If you watch the entrance, he was surrounded by security. I just knew
cameras and everything. It was the craziest thing ever. I have a lot of mixed emotions about Cal. Obviously, I love what he did for us at the beginning. Towards the end, it got very stale very quickly, and that's why he didn't get the donor support. They kind of were just tired of it, and so it worked out for both parties. We made it to the Sweet 16 last year. So did Arkansas. So did Cal. So, but I think bringing in Darius Acuff, the true freshman, absolute stud. You're bringing back Trayvon Brazil. He's a senior now. Really like his game. Tall, lanky guy, can dribble, can get to the rim. I think Carter Knox is a stud. Obviously, his brother Kevin, Cal coached at UK. They brought in Nick Pringle from South Carolina, and so I think he's obviously got that SEC experience, which, as you know, SEC basketball is very physical and you have to be very athletic to play in the SEC. It's a little bit different from that to the Big Ten, as Big Ten's more of like smart, feed it into the paint, back them down, shoot the three. SEC is run and gun, athletic. We're going to beat you off the dribble kind of basketball. They bring back Billy Richmond. I think he's going to be fantastic again. He kind of started to come out of his shell last year. Obviously, DJ Wagner. We'll see what DJ does. He didn't play awesome at Kentucky. Hit his stride a little bit last year. Towards the end of the year, averaged about 11 points a game. But that may be a crazy pick. I don't know, Zuri, but I'm taking Arkansas at number 8. So,
Darius and Brazil both had really great games against Southern for their opener today.
Tonight.
Brazil had 25. Yeah, and then Darius had 22. And Brazil had a double-double. He had a 25 and 11. So, they definitely – that roster is going to be exciting to watch. I mean, 109-77 over Southern today.
It's
really good minutes off the bench from Malik Thomas.
Yeah, and Malik, I forgot about him. It's really, and all the Kentucky fans know that are listening to this. It's really going to come down to if Cal can coach them in March. It's really going to come down to that. But the players are there. They have a team there. It's really just going to come down to can can he coach them to where they need to be to win and get to Indy? And then next up at the number 9 spot, I have UConn. Dan Hurley back again. Just pulling up some of their stats real quick. I think last year's team just kind of could never really get it all together. They just seemed they had Caravan come back. He's obviously back on the team this year, but I just feel like they were missing some pieces.
Yeah.
And I think this year they have that. Let me pull it up real quick here. Sorry, watchers and listeners. Bear with me for a second. I had it up. Alex Caravan, have you seen him shoot the ball? He's got a funky shot.
gosh.
He's got a weird shot.
But
it goes in. It does go in.
You know who that reminds me of? Oh my gosh. Who was the NBA player who had an ugly shot, but that thing would go in? He was known for he was better at corner threes. Gosh, what was his name?
I was going to say Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, but he wasn't in the NBA for very long. He played at Kentucky. He had a really ugly shot. But Solo Ball, he's back for UConn. And so I think that he's kind of got a lot to prove. Last year he was, kind of coming off the wings of the ride that they had just come on, and he had a lot on his back. And I think that this year he'll be a little more settled in to the starting point guard role. And so I think that, in the Big East, he'll be ready to tear it up. Obviously they got Alex Caravan back. Caravan, great college player. Like I said, though, he shoots the ball kind of weird. But it goes in. I mean, he shoots it better than me. I didn't play D1 ball, and I don't have a ring. He has 2 rings, so
that's who it was.
Yeah,
Sean Marion.
so
That's who reminds me of the jump shot.
Sean Marion, yes.
Oh my god,
Sean Marion.
I was like, I had to look it up. I was like, who is it? I said Marion. Oh, Sean Marion.
Yep, Sean Marion.
What a shot.
I do remember his jump shot. It was kind of weird, wasn't it?
The very first time I ever saw him shoot, and I told my dad, I was like, ain't no way he shoots like that. And he goes, but it goes in.
And and that's all that matters. And you do know he played at Vincennes, right?
Yeah.
He played JUCO at Vincennes. Yeah. Because we would always play in that Vincennes tournament up there, and you could see his name up in the rafters. So I always thought that was pretty cool, getting to play in the same gym as Sean Marion, the guy who shoots really weird. And then Zuri, to show you some love, to round out my top 10, I've got the Texas Tech Red Raiders. How do I do it? Do I throw up the L? How do I do it? What's the
L? That's like Louisville. No.
I don't know. What is it?
So it's
guns.
Okay. There it is. Guns
up. Guns up.
Yeah.
No, I would never do that. That tells down. I would never do that. No, guns up. Let's shoot them. I think JT Toppin, he just brings a lot to the table for them. I would love to see them go on another run in the tournament. I just think they're going to be a fun team to watch. I think they win the Big 12 this year. I really do. I think Kansas has a lot.
BYU, then BYU, and Arizona is scary now after I watched them play tonight.
Well, tonight, yeah. I've said eat crow like 100 times tonight, but again, I could eat crow for saying that. But I'll take Texas. I'll take Texas Tech to win the Big 12. But you're right, BYU is going to be be very good. Excuse me. And so that's my top 10.
Who's your player of the year?
So I'm going to be biased. I was going to go Braden Smith. The last minute, I'm going my boy from Kentucky, Otega Owe. I'm gonna run with him. He's my guy, and so that's my boy for National Player of the Year, Otega Oweh.
I mean, I did it for Tech, so it's only right you do it for Kentucky.
Yeah. I mean, I have to. So I've got his jersey right here. I'm gonna roll with Otega. That's my National Player of the Year. For my Final Four, I'm gonna roll with Florida. I'm gonna go Houston. I'm gonna go St. John's, and then I'm gonna go Kentucky.
Okay,
So
I like
that's
that.
my
Yeah,
Final Four.
Houston's a good pick. I think the reason why I was so because I love Sampson, love him as a coach, love the Houston roster. I just, and maybe it's because they haven't gotten that experience yet going so far into the tournament last year, because I was rooting for Houston, like all for him. And then, just watching the last plays that were dwindling down in the last 2 minutes of the game. And it's just like mistakes that shouldn't be happening when you have a title on the line. You know what I mean? Like, these are mistakes, yeah, you can make in regular season. These are mistakes you can make even in your conference tournament, right? But when your season's on the line, when a national championship's on the line, those are mistakes you don't want to make, right? And so, they're returning a lot of those guys back this year with some nice transfers that came in. So I am intrigued to see what the roster looks like. And obviously, the Big 12, you can't rest in this league. You can't on the men's side at all. You can't rest even on the women's side. Each team is going to give you all they have.
It's a dog-eat-dog world out there.
It really is. It really is. And the Big 12 is exciting to watch.
So one thing I wanted to kind of pick your brain about real quick before we have to wrap this up, in that, well, I guess I got to give my national champion.
Oh, yeah.
So, drum roll, please. I am going to go the Kentucky Wildcats as your
no. You did not need a drum roll. You did not.
Nah, I'm going the Cats. I think that we finally have the pieces. Last year's team was fun to watch, but I just think that this year they're there and could really just make a splash, I guess. So
yeah.
But
I'm gonna say Purdue.
You're gonna say Purdue?
Mm-hmm. I think Purdue's gonna win it this year.
Okay. That's fair.
I don't know. Every year it's like they'll lose in the Elite Eight and they'll lose in the Final Four. And every year I'm thinking they're going to win. Every year I think for the last 2 out of 4 years I've had Purdue going to the national championship. And my best friend, Jeremiah, he went to Purdue. So I remember whenever we played Purdue in the Elite Eight in 2019, we were giving each other so much crap. So I was like, we're going to beat y'all. And he was like, no, we're not. And I was a little worried we were going to lose to Purdue. I'm not going to lie. But when we beat them, I remember texting him. I said, we're winning it all. I just know it. We're winning it all. I just know it. And so that's funny. But yeah.
Well, Matt Painter's a hell of a coach.
He really is.
I actually went to their basketball camp as a kid, and so he was a really good guy, and they've just got a great staff over there. And I like that they recruit Indiana. So if it's not Kentucky though, I'm low key gonna go Houston. I think Kelvin Sampson. I think he's due, man. He's just due. It's his time. And we'll see.
Yeah.
Last thing, this is not college basketball related, but Miles Turner.
Yes.
So he just made his return tonight to Indy. Oh man, and the Bucks just won at the end.
They ended up beating them?
117 to 115. Yep.
I was really hoping that they were going to get some momentum, finally getting that win against Golden State. And I thought the momentum was going to go, but it hurts them not having Halliburton. It really does. Like the same are hurting right now without Jason Tatum. Like it just.
Well, and Nebhard's out. Like
he's out too. Yeah, I did see
Obi's out. JT's or TJ McConnell, not JT.
Yeah.
TJ's out. So we're hurting right now. But I was gonna ask you kind of what your thoughts were on all of his comments that he made this offseason about the Pacers. Kind of an eye roll for me. I kind of understand that, he maybe didn't get a lot of respect from the organization over the years, trying to trade him, this and that. But I didn't like it. My question was going to be, do you think he deserved to get booed tonight? But I haven't seen any of the highlights yet, so I won't know until we get off of here.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Here's my thing with that. It's like, don't bite the hand that feeds you, unless it's like it's real bad, right? Like, obviously we don't know everything that's happening behind closed doors. I know that a lot of things that he was kind of targeting was ownership of the Pacers, and I do get that, but at the same time, I do believe that there's a right way to go about it. And I'm going to use Nafisa Collier as an example, right? Like, a big conversation in the W is these players deserving more money, right?
Yep, absolutely.
And Nafisa has actually, her and Brianna Stewart ended up creating a league called Unrivaled, and it's been going on a couple seasons. And last year, it gained a lot of momentum, especially because you're able to watch their games on like TNT, like you can actually see them. And that was a big thing with the WNBA the last few years, is not being able, if you didn't have the WNBA TV package, it was hard to catch a lot of these games.
Yep.
And so that was so exciting to obviously watch them because they're on cable, right? And so, and it was a huge league, like it built momentum. And then knowing that this year they have like Paige Becker's playing it, they have some big time names, Kelsey Plum, and then obviously Brianna Stewart, obviously Nafisa Collier. And what came out not too long ago was Nafisa, and these WNBA players have made it known they're not extremely happy with, the higher ups, right? Like,
right.
But I haven't seen anyone go like completely like left field disrespectful of it, right? But we know as viewers that, hopefully they can get better, from their front office. Like, you're hoping for that, but at the same time, you don't know what happens behind closed doors. You don't know how they're trying to structure those things, but you're optimistic and hoping that there are conversations in place to help that, right? And
Absolutely.
so obviously when Nafisa came out about a conversation that she had with Kathy, you have to hear, like, because you can even hear the pain in her voice, and you can hear like how whenever she's talking about it, it's coming from a place of like wanting to hold Kathy accountable. And I understand that, right? And I feel like it in a very respectful way, because she's talking about a conversation those two had a year ago, right? About what are you planning on doing to really help, all the things. And I'm guessing they weren't seeing any change, right? So I think with her, like, the last straw was, if you watch in that playoff game, when they were playing Phoenix, obviously, if you're watching in real time the game, I remember it's because Alyssa Thomas had stripped Nafisa Collier. And I remember I saw it and I was like, oh, that's a clean strip. And then when I watched the replay, like, it was clear as day, a lot of physical contact. And when you see someone who's in your MVP voting, you expect, obviously, there needs to be a call that goes her way there. And so the way that that was handled, she ends up getting injured. She's taken out for the rest of the season for playoffs. And then not hearing from your, literally, Kathy, you're not hearing anything from Kathy saying, I hope you get better, all these things, right? And that's what you want out of your leadership. And so the way that Nafisa went about it, I give a lot of like respect towards that, because that's hard to speak up with it. But also, she went about it, I feel like, in the best professional way as possible. I think she did. I really do. And that's why I tip my hat off to her, because that shows a lot of courage to speak up about those things, but you're speaking up on behalf of your entire organization. Whereas Miles Turner, the reason why I'm a little frustrated with how he went about it was like, you can go about it a better way. You can, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I just don't like what he's been saying, like about the guys, about like he came out and was saying some stuff about Halliburton, and it's like, dude, just keep your mouth shut. Like, you don't need to say anything. Like, just say it. Just like respect his game. Just, he was a great teammate. Like, You don't have to throw in the explicitives and all that stuff. Just
there's a way to go about it, and I agree with that.
Just move on. But well, Zuri, it's been a blast. I think that's a wrap on our first episode. I think we did a pretty good job. You did a wonderful job, especially filling us in on all that women's college basketball, and we hope you all love it, enjoy it. Our plan is to do this once a week. Maybe once it gets into crunch time during March Madness, maybe even more than that. We'll just see kind of where this thing goes, where it takes off. Zuri, any last words?
You've been benched by Alex. We gotta figure out a good ending,
Yep.
It's okay. I'll get my juices flowing. Maybe I need to take more tequila shots to get that juice flowing. I had a couple to be able to throw this idea to you, but
maybe we do need to do that sometime then.
We are so excited to just build this platform, and thank you for everyone who listened in. We're excited to really get this thing going, and I know a big reason why, and I've told Alex this, the reason why I wanted to do a podcast with him is because when you're an athlete and you've been interviewed by people before, you can tell the people that genuinely care about interviewing you and the questions that they ask you. And I had the best time on Alex's podcast a year ago. And it's an interview that I do still remember to this day, and so that's why I was excited to pitch this idea to him. I honestly thought I was going to be a little mediocre, because I don't have a whole podcast situation. He has a whole mic on. I have something from Amazon. Okay. He is the big guy.
No. First of all, thank you for all those kind words. That means the world to me. Obviously, it's something that I've always wanted to do. And I think I finally got the perfect co-host to do that with. So I'm extremely excited. And this is just the beginning. Obviously, we'll come up with even better topics. This was kind of, maybe not the most exciting episode, but we got to talk about the preseason, and we did a good job of that tonight, even though my number one already lost. But it's been a lot of fun, Zuri. Thank you all for listening. This has been Zuri Sanders, and I'm Alex Holder. This has been the Bench Together podcast. Thank you all for listening.
Bye.